evening. We'll welcome you to the April 13th school board meeting. And we will start the meeting with roll call.
Okay, we'll start with Director Cooney,
Present.
DeBeat,
Present.
Dalby,
Present.
Koff,
Present.
Phillips,
Present.
Schneider,
Present.
Sure.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If you'll stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. We'll welcome all of our visitors and media representatives with us tonight. We do have a public hearing first on our agenda for the certification of the proposed fiscal year 27 budget. We will need a motion to open that public hearing.
I move to open the public hearing for the certification of the proposed FY27 budget.
Second.
Perfect. And we'll need a roll call to enter.
Here.
Cooney,
Here.
DeBeat,
Aye.
Dalby,
Aye.
Koff,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Schneider, Sure.
Aye.
Thank you. Any more written or oral comments? All right. We'll take a motion to close.
Make the motion to close the meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you. And again, that roll call.
Cooney,
Aye.
DeBeat,
Aye.
Dalby,
Aye.
Koff,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Schneider,
Aye.
Sure.
Aye.
Thank you. Our student representatives are not here with us in person, but we believe we have a video for their report.
Good evening. My name is McKenna Shoemaker, this year's senior school board representative. Candy, the junior school board representative, and I have a mandatory musical rehearsal tonight, so we can't be there in person. However, we made a video instead. Speaking of the musical, the Muscatine High School's drama department is showing Guys and Dolls April 23rd, 24th, and 25th at 7 p.m. and 2 p.m. on the 25th as well. You can get your tickets now. Prom is May 2nd at the Merrill Hotel with the theme Masquerade, and tickets will go on sale for students in the next couple weeks. Senior Decision Day is May 1st, and the community is welcome to attend to celebrate the class of 2026 and their future endeavors. The Muscatine High School Key Club is hosting their final blood drive of the year this Thursday, April 16th. 25 seniors will receive a red cord for donating blood at least 6 times. The high school has free prom dresses and tuxes for all MHS juniors and seniors who cannot afford prom attire at this time. ISASP testing is happening at MHS this week for 9th through 11th graders. And this morning, 12th grade students had their official senior meeting to review all the final things needed before graduation. Now, let's talk about athletics. For girls soccer, senior Naomi Young scored in the final minute of the match Saturday morning to help the Muscatine High School girls soccer team prevail over Iowa City High at Muscatine Community Stadium. The girls soccer team currently has 2 wins and 1 loss. Girls track and field sophomore Avery Bradley ran a career best time of 14.9 seconds to win the 100 hurdles Thursday night at the Jesse Day Relays in Davenport. The Muskies were runner-up in the 4x200 with Taryn Watson, Benediction Sela, Kensley Paul, and Abby Norton. Ayla McLaughlin won 3rd in the 100 hurdles. Whitney Estabrook won 3rd in the 1,500 meter. In the 4x100 with Annie Harmon, Abby Norton, Sadie Manjoin, and Reagan Carver also received 3rd. For boys track and field, Muscatine placed 3rd in the 12-team Jesse Day Relays at Brady Street Stadium in Davenport on Thursday with 91 points. Jordan Meeker won the 100-meter dash, and James Roberts jumped 21 feet 3 inches in the long jump to take home 1st as well. Adrian Gompu received runner-up in the 200 and high jump, while Dashiell Wiseman took 2nd in the 400 hurdles. The 4x400 with Jordan Meeker, Aspiri Siwa, Chase Hardman, and Talon Becker also received 2nd at the meet. The Muskies compete at the Eastern Iowa Festival in Iowa City on Saturday. Boys tennis opened the season Tuesday with a 6-3 victory over North Scott and Eldridge. Dylan Randall, Saxby Stein, Max Brendel, and Lonnie Grimm had straight set wins for the Muskies in singles. Grimm and Randall teamed for a win at number 2 doubles, while Stein and Brendel captured a victory at number 3 doubles. They play tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday all around the MAC. Girls Golf plays at Geneva Golf and Country Club this Wednesday and Thursday. For extracurriculars, the MHS Band, Orchestra, and Choir programs will participate in Pleasant Valley Solo and Ensemble competition this Saturday. Again, the Muscatine High School Drama Department will be showing Guys and Dolls April 23rd, 24th, and 25th at 7 p.m. and 2 p.m. on the 25th as well, so make sure to get your tickets. The FFA held their annual Ag Safety Day April 1st, where 6th graders from all across the Muscatine Community School District spent the day at the Ag Learning Center. Students gained hands-on experiences in a variety of safety areas, including electrical safety, fire extinguishers, livestock handling, seatbelt use, eye protection, home safety, and chemical safety with the support of Bear and Muscatine FFA. Model United Nations wrapped up their final conference of the year, March 28th at the University of Northern Iowa. Abigail Schell was named an outstanding delegate representing Mexico and was selected to speak at the closing ceremony. All three of the students serving as lawyers on the International Court of Justice won their cases. Lastly, Key Club members got the opportunity to attend the United Way luncheon last week, and Evie Schatfeld received the Handraiser Award for her volunteer work. That's everything that has happened at Muscatine High School in the past month and things that we can look forward to. I hope you guys have a great meeting, and I'm sorry that I can't be there to have it with you, but yeah, come see Guys and Dolls the musical, and I'll see you later. Bye.
We should have them do a movie every time.
I know.
All right. We will move into Citizen Speaks portion of the agenda. If anyone in the audience would like to approach the board, they can do so by going to the podium, stating their name and address, and then they have 3 minutes to speak per Iowa code. We cannot respond as a board. Do we have anyone? All right. Board's targets and goals reports. We have our board goals. Students will graduate prepared for post-secondary options. Muscatine schools will utilize resources effectively and equitably. Students will learn in a positive and supportive environment. Under our first goal, we have a presentation from the District Career and Academic Plan, or the DCAP, approaching us now.
Good evening, school board. Welcome to our annual District Career and Academic Plan overview. I'm going to do some quick introductions and then kind of get into a brief overview of what our DCAP is for the district. My name is Morgan Moore. I'm one of the assistant principals at the high school. I have Brandon Welsh with me. He's one of the counselors, and his career, he's in the work-based learning and career focus. Danny Wolf will be talking a little bit tonight. She's also a counselor and an MCC advisor. Mr. Truitt can't be here tonight, but Sam Paul will also be speaking, and we will have some students and outside guests as well. So the actual DCAP is 8 sections, and for me to go over all the sections in detail would take quite a while, so that's why it's a very brief overview. And the 8 sections that I will really focus on will be kind of our district statement, our 4-year plan, our work-based learning area, FAFSA advisement, and how we integrate within the district and the middle school. So today, when I walk you through the DCAP, it serves as a roadmap for career development and post-secondary success for students in the Muscatine Community School District. This work is designed to support students in grades 7 through 12, allowing us to begin career exploration early and continue to build meaningful experiences throughout their secondary journey. Each year, our district meets as a team to evaluate and revise the DCAP, adding goals, refining supports, and ensuring the work remains intentional and data-driven.
All right, Morgan said, my name is Sam Paul. I teach ag at the high school as well as FFA advisor. And this year, as we look at our goals for the 26-27 school year, we've expanded our goals to include 5th and 6th graders with different career exploration opportunities through junior achievement, which is something that the 6th graders have been doing for a number of years, and also expanding and adding things like McKenna talked about earlier with our safety day and our ag STEM day, where the FFA students and ag students at the high school have paired up with businesses such as Bear was the leading one this year, and a couple other groups to put on an ag STEM day where we teach the incoming 5th and 6th graders some different opportunities that are out there related to career options. We've also continued to expand opportunities for other grade levels We have a number of career and tech areas at the middle school where those students have tons of opportunities. For example, next week when our FFA students go to state convention, we also have middle school kids who have either qualified or will be attending things like that that are related to career opportunities as well. The last part there is we are working to vertically align our 5th through 12th grade opportunities in career exploration. We've reached out and done a little bit of work with some of the elementary counselors about what stuff that they currently teach and are doing to see how those could align with what we do later on in high school. So that's kind of where we're at right now for our academic goals for the 26-27 school year.
Part of our yearly team building process includes an evaluation from a partner school. Our current partner school would be West Liberty, and we'll meet in about June to kind of go through a rubric to see where we are as far as the strength of our DCAP. And right now, some of the things that we are working on is making sure that our district goals are aligning with our DCAP and that we're setting very explicit outcomes for those opportunities for students and continuing to look at the district vision card in addition to developing the DCAP as well. So for our 4-year plan, when we look at everything, a key component of that is the 4-year plan, which begins in 8th grade. We start this process early to allow students to begin thinking about their careers, interests, strengths, and future goals before they enter high school. Parents and guardians sign an acknowledgement after kind of reviewing the plan, helping ensure family involvement from the start. The plan is then reviewed each year by the student, family, and counselor, allowing for adjustments as interests evolve and opportunities expand. During these conversations, students and families are also advised on progress toward graduation to make sure students remain on track. This process connects directly to the ICAP essential components and includes opportunities for student reflection, helping students think intentionally about their goals and future pathways. Concurrent enrollment opportunities are also shared with students and families, and course selection, including concurrent enrollment, is intentionally tied to students' post-secondary goals and planning. This helps ensure that course decisions are purposeful and aligned with students' futures.
Hi, I'm Brandon Walsh. I'm a counselor at Muscatine High School and head up the work-based learning program. First and foremost, everything work-based learning, career exploration related isn't possible without the support of our school district and our community. So I want to extend my thanks to them. This is my 5th year heading this up, and I don't think I've met a person yet who has not been supportive of helping us out in this initiative. Sometimes things aren't always possible, but everyone's willing and eager to get on board with this. So just to outline a little bit, 9 through 12 are kind of pathways for career exploration and into work-based learning. This is a little bit older model that the state used, but we still kind of use it. You'll see a newer model in another slide or two here, but yep. So we start off with career awareness and career exploration, 9th, 10th grade year. Some of those things are classes like career exploration, job shadows, guest speakers. And then as we expand upon 11th and 12th grade, we're looking more into cooperative learning projects and then actual real world training, like you're gonna hear about a little bit tonight through apprenticeships and internships. Next slide. So these are some of our numbers from last year. We've held pretty steady or trended upward the last 4 or 5 years. As you can see, we have some career-related classes and numbers listed there. We had 76 students involved in our career academies last year. And with work-based learning, we had 70 total experiences. Those would be 60 with internships and 10 with registered apprenticeships. And then we had 130 job shadows last year, which are short observations for students to do career exploration. The two numbers that I really think are a great highlight to our school and our career involvement are we had 29% of seniors last year that were involved in either work-based learning through an internship or an apprenticeship or in a career academy. So I think that's a great number, especially considering roughly 60% of students are going to college. This kind of accounts for another big chunk of that. And then industrial recognized credentials. I'll talk a little bit more about that here, but one example of that is CNA certifications, and we had 16 students last year that earned CNA certifications while in high school, so I think that's a great highlight to our program. Next slide. So if you're looking in the left-hand column there, the 25, 26 current numbers, keep in mind those are work in progress because we still got kids that are still going on job shadows, still looking to get associated with job opportunities. But we have 64 total students, 11 apprenticeships, and we currently have 94 job shadows as well. And keep in mind, these go across all different career clusters, so we're not just talking trades. We have students that are interning in healthcare, law, optometry, IT, all across the board. Some are easier to get kids associated with than others, but we feel like we've got a pretty wide spectrum of opportunities. I do, if you could go back still, I do feel like in terms of internships and apprenticeships that we do probably rank in the top quartile of schools in the state. That being said, our Iowa profile and our work-based learning numbers were not very high, and we've dug into that a little bit, and I think we found some of the causes. One of those being that only senior students were identified last year, and so it's a tiered system. Next year there'll be juniors, sophomores, and then the fourth year will be freshmen through 12th graders. And so I think some of ours were spread out a little bit and lowered that number a little bit. I think some of those counting numbers weren't coded correctly, which I think we've now managed to take control of. The other thing is we've identified some opportunities, existing opportunities of things we offered in the classroom that we, like many other schools across the state, didn't know we could necessarily count. And we've also developed some opportunities which we're now embedding into senior level, junior level required courses that I think are going to, hopefully we anticipate those numbers going up quite a bit next year. Another feature, another category that is going to be recognized just next year are industry recognized credentials. Just like the CNA that I mentioned, we've had some students with Safe Serve through our Culinary Academy program. There's some pesticide certifications through the Ag program. We are working now to get those identified and also look for other opportunities where students can get those credentials as well. Finally, we have been working the last couple years. This is kind of a brainstorm with the help of AIM that's turned into a reality a little bit. So when we looked at NCAA clearinghouse numbers, we get a report back of all the students that are in college. Let's say it's 60%. We are glad a lot of times at that number, but what about the other percentage that goes unaccounted for? Sometimes it's viewed as a win with the 60% and the other account is a loss. And in our opinion, we don't view it that way. There are many students that have an intention and do some work-based learning opportunities here at the high school and then end up in that field. And it might be straight into the workforce. So with a partnership with AIM and Muscatine High School that we've started, we are starting to reach out to local community businesses, identify those students, see what job they are currently in, backtrack and see if we played a part through work-based learning, and if so, we're gonna hopefully be able to provide those numbers along with clearinghouse numbers in the next few years. So we definitely put an importance on meeting the individual at their goal and not kind of pigeonholing them to a college or a set goal of ours. I'd be happy to answer other questions at some point on any of the work-based learning stuff, but I think for now we'll turn it over to some of our student and employer representatives. To start off with, we're going to have Landon Baker, who is currently in the registered apprenticeship program at Hoffman or Silverhawk Fabrication, and he's going to speak a little bit about his experience. And Landon, just remember that your supervisor is speaking next. So Jamie Howland at Hoffman, he's the fabrication manager at Hoffman and also Silverhawk. Thank you.
My name is Landon. I'm a senior at the Muscatine High School. I took 3 welding classes, and that set me up for like work-based learning, helped me out a little bit. And then I went over to Jamie, and Brandon set me up with him, and I did weld test, and I did pretty good, and I don't know. I'm stuck. Jamie, you have to help me out here.
What are your hours there? Do you want us to ask you questions? Is that
Uh,
helpful?
I work 4 hours a day for now, but when we don't have school, I go in there full time.
Okay,
So 6 to 4:30.
nice. So you go to school during the other part of the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then once I'm done with high school, I'm gonna go to Hoffman and work full time.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. We might have more questions for you in a little.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Howland. I'm the fabrication manager at Silverhawk Fabrication here in Muscatine. I've worked at Silverhawk Fabrication for 22 years, but started my career in the welding industry a week after I graduated from MHS. I took welding classes at that school also. These classes provided me with the baseline knowledge of what welding is, but didn't prepare me for what I would learn over the next 28 years. We're working with today's youth to give them a jump start that I never had. When I joined the adult workforce, there were no programs that took your hand and guided you to become something that you didn't know existed. I worked alongside an older generation that already had things figured out. Sure, they had their fair share of adversity along the way too, but they already had the knowledge to know how to work around those issues that they faced. Working with these gentlemen provided me with the valuable resources that you cannot find in a book or a classroom. These skills I learned working with the older workforce shaped me into the man and fabricator I am today. At Silverhawk, we see the value in providing these young people with the knowledge that I gained in my younger years. Silverhawk started working closely with Brandon Welsh in 2022. Since then, we have opened our doors to 1 to 2 MHS students who join us for usually a half a day every weekday. Most of these students have gone on to be full-time employees with us after graduation. Last year, we signed into the Registered Apprenticeship Program and took in 4 students. By joining this program, the students not only gain knowledge in our industry, but will receive a certificate of completion once they log a set number of hours. These hours do not have to be met while they are in school, so even after the graduation, when the student reaches the threshold, the certificate will be handed out. Of the 4 students we currently have, all 4 are looking to become full-time employees after graduation, one of which will be heading off to college in the fall. As some of you are aware, we are seeing a shortfall of capable employees in varying industries. One way we can combat this is to train those who want to be in our industry. As the old saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I found that hiring older, capable people comes at a cost too. Working with older generations is tough. Sorry for those that are older. Older people find it difficult to take directive from those who are younger than them. You laugh, but you know it's true. If you're not willing to listen or take directions, you aren't a good fit for us. We open our doors to those who want to be there. We are willing to work with those who want to be worked with. We have seen great options with choosing our youth. In the fall of 2024, Brandon reached out about getting a couple of students in for an initial interview. Landon was one of those students. In preparation for this meeting, I looked back at my notes from his weld test. This is where I'm going to make him out to be a liar. Those notes did not say that Landon was an exceptional welder and that I wanted to offer him a job. Those notes showed that neither he nor the other student that interviewed that day did very well compared to what we're used to. In the real world, a subpar interview or hands-on test would not land you a job, but Landon became our first student in the Registered Apprenticeship Program that fall. Landon has not only learned a lot about being a welder, fabricator, but has learned about becoming a better person. We are seeing this with other students too. We don't treat this program as a funnel to get students into our workforce faster. Not only are we striving to teach each of these students what fabrication is, we see this as an opportunity to work with these students to make them into decent people. I'm confident this program and working along with Silverhawk has helped shape these students to be those better people we are all looking for, and that means more to me than creating an employable student after graduation. During a student's shift, which varies depending on what their schedule is at school, we work a lot with Brandon on setting up what their schedules are and he shuffles their schedule around at school, so it's more of a block section. So as Landon noted, he shows up at 12:30 every day, gets there, works for 4 hours, leaves at 4:30, unless it's like today where you guys have goofy tests going on, and he's got to jumble that around. But we work with those schedules to make everybody get in and get some hours. So during those shifts, each will interact with several other people in our shop. Each of these people have their own ways of getting work completed. These students can learn multiple different methods of achieving the same goal. This shows them that they don't have to be stuck doing things the same way every time. This also gives them an avenue to see what works best for them. Students who participate in this program and work with Silverhawk are highly sought after graduation. In addition to learning various techniques, the students learn to communicate as adults. There are no more temper tantrums or walking away from something they do not want to face. When issues or conflicts arise, we sit down with them, talk through the issues, and teach them what conflict resolution is. We have seen and continue to see growth in each student. The growth has not only been in their ability to weld, but we see a better communication and ownership of what they're doing. In closing, I ask that you look at your jobs that you have to see what skills are needed, and at a minimum, convey that to the school board. Without input from the real world, the schools will only teach and concentrate on things that they believe that we need. These lists may not be the same. I also ask you to see if your employer is willing to open your doors as well. The more exposure these students get, the better prepared they are for our futures.
Thanks, Jamie. I did want to just note that every community business we've worked with has been very supportive with the idea that school comes first. And so if a student like Landon wants to go on the senior march, they don't work that day. Or if they want to participate in a sport or activity, they don't hold it against them to do those things. The same token, if grades and attendance and things like that are going down, community businesses have also been supportive that the job goes away. So school comes first, and I'm thankful for our employers in town for that. Our final speaker will be Michaela Edkin, who has had an interest in physical therapy or the health field and is currently a physical therapy tech at Rock Valley.
Hello, my name is Michaela Edkin, and I am a senior here at MHS. For the past year and a half, I have had an internship at Rock Valley Physical Therapy through work-based learning. During my time there, I have learned so much about physical therapy and the field of healthcare in general. My job has exposed me to many healthcare-related jobs that I otherwise would not have known about. I have known the health industry was a field I was interested in for a long time. Human anatomy and physiology, as well as medical terminology, have helped me understand the different injuries I see with patients at Rock Valley with the different therapists. Rock Valley has helped me prepare for future jobs by showing me how a place of work functions in the healthcare world, and by exposing me to important privacy laws and other standards in a professional workplace. My time at Rock Valley has confirmed that I want a career in healthcare, whether that be physical therapy or something else. I want to thank Mr. Welsh and Ms. Wolf for helping me obtain this opportunity and jumpstart my knowledge of healthcare. I would also like to thank Rock Valley for welcoming me into their work family. I will forever cherish my time there. Work-based learning is well worth students' time and an opportunity for growth as a student and a person. My one piece of advice for other students as my time at high school comes to an end would be to take advantage of job shadows and work-based learning, because you never know where they will lead you. Thank you.
So our actual DCAP is about 25 pages long. It's really important for the community and the school board to be able to see the actual testimonials of students and teachers who have worked really hard to make sure that these students have opportunities that will tie them to their future. So that's why we want to make sure that students are able to come in and speak a little bit about their experiences, and have an employer come in and speak about their experiences too. So our essential components, these are just aspects of our DCAP that are essential in helping students plan and prepare as they move through their 4 years at high school. Those components would be self-assessment and understanding, career information, career exploration, which you've heard a lot about tonight, and then something called post-secondary exploration and decision. So within self-assessment and understanding, the counselors use a program called Naviance a lot, and they will do things like the career cluster finder. They will work on a resume their 11th and sometimes their 12th grade year. They have a Supermatch college search, and they also will perform a job shadow reflection if they are lucky enough to have a job shadow as they become upperclassmen. Career information is at every single grade level. We have career exploration classes. All of our CTE classes have different opportunities for speakers to come in and have field trips to local businesses. We have classes that offer career exploration like IJAG, strategies, and career exploration. Within career exploration, we have very strong CTSOs at our high school, and these would be like FFA and our BPA groups, and they compete at the state and national levels. In fact, our BPA group is going to the national level here in a few weeks, and I know FFA has gone to nationals many times. Within career exploration, we have our internships, registered apprenticeships, and work-based learning opportunities, and those cooperative learning projects. And then finally, with post-secondary exploration, we'll share some data with our MCC numbers here in a few slides. We have a college and career fair with Eastern Iowa Community Colleges, and we invite the local districts to come in for that. Recently, we took 100 first-generation ninth graders to MCC so they could get a little bit of a taste of what college could look like. We will have our signing day that McKenna talked about for colleges and trades in May. And then we have that very robust college strategies class with college visits and scholarship completion opportunities.
I'm Danny Wolf. I head up the FSA, FAST advisement. Here we go. We're going to try that one more time. It's been a day. All right. So as of March 25th, we currently had 162 completion for all of the 12th graders, so that also includes our 12 plus students who are within our transition program, all of that. So the number doesn't look as high, but I'd like to make that notice. We also have quite a few students who still don't know what they're going to do next year, so they're still filling out FAFSA, still filling out scholarship applications, all of those things. This year we had 21 of 26 students enrolled in strategies that completed the FAFSA. The rest of them just chose not to based off of parental advisement. Myself and Michaela Cardenas, we head up all of the FAFSA scholarship applications. We do college application day. We also work really closely with AIM, and so we partnered with AIM, and they actually brought in some food for the kids for college application day. We handed out over 5 different gift cards for various amounts, like Shields and Taco Bell and all of the places the kids love to eat. And we also utilize Annabilia as well for any questions that come to MCC specifically. And so we do this all year long. This year we finally got back on our normal schedule for FAFSA, and we're utilizing Upward Bound, making sure all of our students have every opportunity. Once we go on summer break, we have a program called Summer Melt, where AIM has a person who works, so any kid who decides to go to college, any kid who maybe is like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for college now that I'm going to go. There is somebody available June through August to work with them to make sure they are supplied with anything that they need, as well as our EICC strategies class. Michaela does an incredible job with our students, but she also follows them for over a year later, checking in with them, making sure they're doing okay. If they need help with that FAFSA completion, we just had a huge list of emails from some of our 25 graduates said, I forgot to do it, can you help me? So I would say like our FAFSA advisement it's still going on, it's ongoing, just with all of the late comings of offerings and all of the scholarships.
So like I said in a previous slide, what is really impactful for a lot of our students is the opportunity to take concurrent classes at the high school and through MCC. So right now we have about 450 students enrolled in CCIR classes and academies. 87% of our 9th through 12th grade students will have at least identified 2 areas that they're kind of interested in. 50% of our students enrolled in college after graduation, and that's some of our post-secondary numbers. We are going to continue to partner with our local and very supportive businesses for supports for our students here at the high school. We continue to push our teachers and our counselors to attend national and state conferences so they can bring back some of those skills that they learned while they are there. We will continue to implement our building CSIP and our district vision card as we work on our DCAP. And again, we meet multiple times a year, almost quarterly as a team, to evaluate our DCAP to make sure it is benefiting our students and our community the most. Do you have any questions, school board?
First of all, I want to be able to say your ability to reach these students is very important. And you've shown by a lot of this, you know, what you've done up until this time frame, and I very much appreciate that. And so I have one statement, then a question from there. And the statement has to do with the work as in the trades and such. I know that that is something that's going to be even more and more important, you know, as these students graduate, and because this next generation, it's going to be different for them than it has for, you know, any of our generation and everything coming up. So my question actually has to deal with, because I love the fact that, you know, you're thinking of the 5th and 6th graders and into, you know, 7th and 8th graders and such. What do you see or have starting to look at due to the difference of everything that's going on, especially with everything with AI and the type of jobs equivalent to, you know, what we have had? What do you see as the jobs of the future? Then how can we navigate that? That's kind of a loaded question, but yes.
I'll answer for a quick second, and then I'll put that down too, so I don't hit it a lot of times. But anyway, what we've done in our area and some of the career and tech areas is that things that we would do normally maybe in the high school level, we've expanded those down so we can find a different version of them, maybe a little bit of a simpler version, more of an introduction version. For example, we have a presenter coming in a couple of weeks who normally is presented about drones and spraying and applications and all these different things. He's got all, you know, we talk about certifications. We talk about getting special privilege from the airport for no-fly zone at the Ag Center. So all these things that are roped into one job that could be lots of different jobs. And so what we've done is we've expanded that out to how can we make some of those opportunities for the junior high, for the 7th and 8th graders who are coming in. And probably one of the biggest challenges is just how do we get all the kids to enroll and take some of those classes so they're exposed to those areas. So we've just kind of moved stuff down to a younger level and to keep kind of progressing in that fashion. And that's really how, like, STEM Day came about, Safety Day came about, some of these other visits and things like that that we do with 5th and 6th graders came about too, is the earlier we can get them exposed to those things, the better off that we can be.
Yeah, well, thank you. I love the fact that you did a good analogy there to show what you're actually looking forward with that, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I don't have a question, but more like a couple of statements. First of all, thank you for a great presentation. And thank you for bridging our district, school district, and our students with the local business community, which is very important. I mean, we see that as a very important thing. And Landon and Michaela, thank you for sharing your stories with us. I know that the skills that you're learning and the knowledge that you're adding to what you know already or what you learn in the classroom will be very valuable. So thank you for sharing your stories with us.
All right, thank you guys. We have another presentation under this goal as well on our concurrent enrollment course presentation.
Okay, my name is Chris Foxon. I teach social studies at MHS. I've been at the district since 2003, 2004 school year. And we're here to present some information on adding a concurrent enrollment course approval and district funding policy. As many of you know from the presentation, There's lots of opportunities for students to partnership with businesses and, of course, the Muscatine Community College. But in order to put the Muscatine School District in a position for career pathways, align ourselves with our curriculum and financial stewardship, we think it's time to make sure we have a board policy for how the school district operates with the MCC classes, okay? Please rest assured that there is a broad spectrum still available, based on, of course, your approval, to the MCC concurrent classes. So we're going to kind of walk you through that a little bit today. So the big thing is the career academies that already exist, they're going to be grandfathered in, if that's a term I think I could use here. And then after that, we're going to, of course, have an appeals process and an approved course list that we review annually. Okay?
Yes, I'm Randy Guerra. I teach English. I actually teach a concurrent class, Comp 106, an Intro to Lit. For seniors, we will have an annual course review and approval of the course list of not only the concurrent classes we teach at the high school, but the courses that we offer our students to take at MCC. We have a pretty expansive menu that is right here with such classes as Intro to Philosophy, Intro to Ethics, Art Appreciation. Students can choose to enroll in any college credit courses not included on the approved list, but they have to do it at their own expense, including all costs, fees, and expenses. With that, the district will publish the approved course list and the curriculum guide every year after school board approval. The student families will be informed that enrollment in courses not on the approved list will not be financially supported by the district.
And I do want to emphasize, like, we've designed this to be flexible, because so there's going to be, you know, an annual review, so people can make an appeal. So it isn't like the board policy that you decide on and that we as a school district approve is necessarily like set in stone. It's meant to be flexible. But I do want to emphasize, you know, for the financial stewardship of our district, all school districts are going through some financial constraints. I think we're all aware of that. I would emphasize that this policy kind of helps us stay in a more financial stewardship position to keep us agile.
And to add additionally, I do think that it will benefit students. Sometimes our students are really successful at taking MCC courses, but some of them do struggle, and hopefully having not a limited, but a very tight list where students, with courses we know that the students can be successful at, that they will be, because sometimes we have students that are struggling through it.
I would open it up to questions.
I just have a little bit of a clarification, because when you say you look at that annually, so in other words, they may not be on an approved list, but if you see that enough of the students are starting to take some of the other type of classes, then that could be something that could be switched to the approved list?
Yes.
Or is it other criteria?
If we see like students wanting to take the class, like a large number, then obviously we'd want to try to offer it to them. But the courses that we have now listed are the most popular ones, and the ones that fit the most requirements as far as like the liberal arts requirements that they need for UNI, Iowa, or Iowa State.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I think it also allows, you know, if a new course was proposed, you know, through the community college that maybe fit, each year we're going to go back through and kind of adjust that list. I would also say districts across the state are going through this process and creating adopted lists. I know we've, you know, from the state level, they've expanded access to these concurrent enrollment courses, including, you know, some students who are homeschooled and other things. We just want to make sure that the courses that we have to offer and provide are the ones that really kind of help them on the pathways that we've identified and have been talking about.
So it's not just if that seems popular, so to speak, but it's rather, does that also include that it would help put them on the pathway, is when you make that decision?
Yeah, so like our counseling department that meets with students, just like you saw great examples previous to our presentation, would make sure it aligns them for like the next step.
Yeah.
Because there are many classes, which is great, that MCC offers, but some of those classes necessarily won't really help them strategically in the next step of their life. So that's why we're kind of trying to narrow, as Randy pointed out.
Yeah, thank you.
I do have two questions, I think, or maybe one's more of just a comment and a thought that maybe we'll talk about later. In this, and we might have it somewhere else too, but is the district funding contingent on grades achieved in those classes at all?
No.
Okay. And then my next question is, because this is kind of an ever-changing list, maybe, is that better served into some like procedure or regulations, and we make this a little bit more vague for you guys as a policy, or do you intend to come back every year to?
I think we can look at it a couple of ways, but even if you're coming back every year, obviously the first time is a little more intensive, right? You know, in future years, it can be more of a quick update. If nothing has changed, it becomes just a reapproval. If there are small changes, we notify you of those things. So I think it's probably good to have that annual process, though.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. On the curriculum guide for the 26-27 year, under concurrent enrollment program for math specifically, there's an AP statistics course listed there, and I'm not, like, it indicates that it's like a contractual agreement with MCC. Is that an error, or is that an AP statistics course that's through MCC? And maybe this is not so much for you, Randy and Chris.
It's been listed as AP, and so we've been having a lot of our students transition from our AP courses to our MCC, so we wanted to bring it back into our building since we have the qualified teachers, and so we are going to utilize that as an MCC course throughout the school year.
Okay, so the AP will stay. It's still through College Board?
Yes, so they get the opportunity to, as long as they pass the MCC class and earn the appropriate grade, they would get that. Then they would have to take the AP statistics test, pass that test in order to get that credit. So either way, we're offering students credit. We just want to make sure that it's the appropriate rigor and amount for them. One thing I wanted to add, because these guys didn't know this, the Senior Year Plus program has opened this pretty wide open. So there are if a student can take a class and fail it 8 different times, and the district is still legally required to pay for it. A student who is not our student but is homeschooled within our town can also come and take classes. So we had some students who were trying to take Intro to Piano, which is a great class. I don't want to take that away from anything, but we want to make sure it's degree seeking, it's working towards something, and it's not just classes here and there. So it's tailored to work towards these kids' either associate's degree in any way, or maybe their certification, their diploma that they're working through on MCC's pathway. So we've looked through as many of these categories as we can to make sure we're still offering the humanities, all of those for our students.
Thank you, Danny. And you answered my second question. It was just clarification of what Lindsay had asked about contingency on grades and things like that. So, okay.
Where did you see that one?
AP stats?
Yeah.
It's in the curriculum guidebook.
Oh, I was looking at the policy that they had here.
So,
and I was like,
so
I'm
AP
missing it.
Stats is going to be similar to the class I teach. We call it AP Literature in Power School, but it's actually Intro to Lit and Comp 2. Why we do that is so the students don't have to make a choice, because in their junior year, a lot of them want to go out of state, and they realize halfway through their senior year that they're not. So we're able to, with some classes, call it AP, because it is teaching the same objectives. And then they get the MCC credit. Then at the end of the year, they have the option to take the AP test if they're going to go out of state, because MCC credit's not going to be portable to if they're trying to go to Northwestern or Georgetown or wherever it might be. So it's sort of like right now I have, I think 105 students, 10 of them are opting into the AP Lit test. But the rest of them, and well, all of them, if they pass, will earn credit already. That will be transferable in Iowa and a lot of Midwest colleges.
Okay, thank you, Randy. This might be more for you. Is there a cost associated with AP specifically, like to have it sort of covered under both?
I'll have to follow up on that to
Okay.
see how that works.
Thank you.
So why can they fail 8 times and keep taking it? I guess, where does that come down?
That's state,
It's a law.
from
Like
state
a
law that
That's
was
what I wondered if it
changed
was
in that
state,
Senior Plus program.
Are there any other questions? Thank you. Moving into the superintendent update.
All right, so I have just a few things to update on tonight. One, just a lot of things happening right now in terms of testing and a lot of activities and events. And there's just a lot of really good things happening in our buildings as well. I think, especially tonight as we think about that DCAP plan, even as we talk about CCIR, it always makes me reflect on what a great community we have that supports our students in preparing them for whatever is next in all of those pathways. We're very fortunate to have those kind of community partners a number of times. And we also talked about here this evening with the DCAP program, Aligned Impact Muscatine, right? You don't find organizations like that in many other communities anywhere. And our business community, they're always looking to support us and support kids. And many times in other places I've been, we talk about business partnerships, but oftentimes that's more of a one-way relationship where it's like, what can you bring to us, right? And when you really think about the things we talked about tonight and share, it benefits our business partners, it benefits the community. So just a lot of really good things that I think we have to be proud of. And so I just want to take an opportunity to say that as I was getting started here. Legislative updates, we're kind of waiting to see how the tax reform pieces kind of flow through. We're getting close to that second funnel where some of that legislation will go away, although you never know that it fully goes away because it can get attached to other things. As an example, there's currently a bill on open enrollment and athletic eligibility that changes it from 90 school days to 140 calendar days, okay? In addition to that, the last time it was amended, they added in the ability for 8th grade students to participate in high school athletics, okay? That got kind of jumped into the end and it passed out of the House, I think 94-0 or something, right? So those little extra pieces can get added on there and then we'll kind of try to figure out how to manage and work through that. And I'm not saying necessarily that we're opposed to having 8th grade kids participate in athletics. It's more of an example of how some of these other things get attached, and we just always have to look out for those pieces happening. So again, we'll wait and see what happens with tax reform, where that leads us into next year. Obviously, things will kind of change rapidly here over the next couple of weeks, and we'll keep you posted on that. We have really good advocates for us in terms of ISFIS and Margaret Buckton, the UEN, that are providing those updates and impacts, and at times if there are concerns, information on what you should be looking for, and conversations you can have with legislators to let them know the impact that'll have on us. Obviously, a lot of this also tends to move us into conversations about budget. You approved, or you will be approving the budget later tonight. We've shared and we've talked about some budget reductions. We know that target for us is between 2 and 2.5 million. We've done some maneuvering already that really get us pretty close to that. We're very close to about $2 million in that target right now, which is good. That being said, any positions as we kind of move forward, we're just going to continue to evaluate. Right? Keep in mind that at the elementary level, our class sizes really dictate. So if we have a particular grade level at a building that's getting really full, we're gonna look at splitting that and adding another section, right? We may also, if we have two sections that are getting really small, we may have to have a conversation about combining those into one. Obviously, a lot of that won't happen until we get into next year, and we just have to respond to that. We also look at course requests. All of those things are being looked at and evaluated. So it's certainly not an easy process, but I think, you know, for where we're at right now, we're in a pretty good position. So that being said, you are approving some positions tonight, employment recommendations. You know, we've got a couple of TLC positions that are being added as we look at not replacing Joelle's director position in curriculum. It will add some additional supports to student services and some additional supports to MTSS and a lot of the work that we've been doing. And again, we're still working through what that support will look like next year to make sure we're covering all of the things that we need to. And really, in all of this budget process is how do we try to keep this as far away from students as we can, which is a challenge, and ultimately because we're a people business, right? And at some point, it gets harder and harder to do as we've done this year after year after year. So again, just we will continue to look at those positions, and it's across the board. We're looking at administrative positions, non-certified positions, para positions, custodial, everything, right? And again, that's the work of right-sizing year after year after year. Questions about that before I move on?
Is there going to be, I mean, I assume with all the changes, TLC changes and stuff, are there going to be like job descriptions for these positions?
Yes, we do have job descriptions that went out with the postings. Okay, I'm going to keep moving on then, okay? I want to talk a little bit about graduation rates. So we did get back last year's graduation rates. Overall, we went down a little bit. We were at 85.3%, and we ended last year at 84%, and that's the four-year graduation rate. That 84, though, just in context of the 5 years that we have access to data now, because I don't know if you remember a few years ago, they wiped out all the previous 10 years because they'd been calculating it wrong, and so we have 5 years of data. That's the second highest we've had in the past 5 years. Our 5-year rate did increase to 88%, so that continues to move in a positive direction. Our IEP graduation rate is up to 61.5%. That continues to move in a positive direction. Our EL graduation rate was nearly 92%. So that was really strong. In some of our subgroups, our black subgroup was up to 80%. That's an increase from where it's been in the past. Hispanic Latino is 88%, which was also an increase. And again, so we're seeing a lot of positive growth in certain areas. And overall, we think about, we talked a little bit as we talk about MCAP. Last year we got 15 out of 15 of those students to graduate. So you take that program out, and we're probably looking at an 80% graduation rate without it. Those kids coming in weren't necessarily predicted to make it, and they did. This year, I know we've got 12 students. We had 13. We did have one that we're still trying to bring back. But right now, I think Kathy's feeling really solid about, the 12 that are there. So as we, really start to move kids intentionally through the MTSS structure, we're seeing, more and more growth, and certainly that program has been a benefit and has had an immediate impact on our overall graduation rate. Our dropout rate is down a little bit, which is a good thing. It was 2.32, and now it's 2.19. Okay? How they calculate that, I can't tell you, but that's what the state reported rate is. The last piece around graduation rate, really the goal is to get to 90%, and I think within the next couple of years, we're going to get there. As we look at classes moving through the system, we're seeing, more of that growth, but we still have work to do. I do, as we're talking about MCAP, I do want to recognize that program. Last week at the United Way Impact Luncheon, they were recognized through their impact on graduation rates. And Kathy Degner was there with 2 students, Amaya and Leslie. You get that correct? And again, just outstanding representatives of the program. Kathy and Scott are just doing great things with kids there. Matt is doing a feature on them that will be coming up here pretty soon. And again, we're very fortunate to be able to have that program and meet the needs of kids. And so as we're talking about graduation rates, I want to make sure I also recognize that as well. And I think that's all my updates for tonight, unless you have additional questions for me.
I have one question. Do you have an update on the counselor program review?
So I will check. Do we know when? Well, you're going to have to come up because then nobody can hear you. Sorry.
So actually, we kind of start this coming Friday with our counselor PD. So Diana Wood is coming from AEA, and the counselors will all take a self-assessment during that PD. And then the very first week of May, we'll be sending out the parent surveys, staff surveys, student surveys around counseling, and I have all of those surveys. Those are all ready to go. And then I'll work with I'll work with Diana Wood and Susan Downs, and we'll do different school visits and interviews with students, staff, and families.
Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
And then once they have all that information, they'll have a report like they've done in the past that they'll bring to the board and share, including some recommendations, the things we can do to keep moving forward.
Right, and some of that work will be, that program review will come out in this summer, so we'll start that in the fall, that work.
One more question. No, sorry. The survey that went out about employee experience, I'm not getting the name of it right, that you sent out.
For HR and finance?
Yeah. Did we have a good turnout for that? Was there a good response rate?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
And I know I need to probably send out another blast in my superintendent update to see if we can get a few more.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the Board of Education and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a director so requests, in which the event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence from the agenda. Those are A, approve the minutes of the March 9th regular session and March 30th public hearing meetings. Approve the bills and claims against the district dated April 13th. Approve the following employment recommendations. Approve policies with no minimal or required by law changes. Approve the interfund transfer from the general fund to the activity fund. Approve the agreement for the field experience student teaching with Wartburg College and Muscatine Community School District. Approve the special education contracts for services out between Muscatine Community School District, Wilton Community School District, and Durant Community School District. And approve special education out contracts between CAM Community School District and Muscatine Community School District. And approve the 2026 to 2027 shared personnel agreement for youth engagement program coordinator in the amount of $18,500. What are the wishes of the board?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Our first item requiring action is to approve CBI Bank and Trust as the official depository for a period of 3 years. We have Tom. We need a motion, sorry.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'm sorry, Kim, was that you?
Now we can ask questions or have discussion.
Yeah, so In the board packet there, I put the process. I think I brought this to you last month and reviewed kind of the history of what has happened in Muscatine with, you know, all the accounts that we had. But, you know, ultimately, our main goal was to consolidate down to one bank. CBI is the recommended bank to go forward for the next 3 years. And I just think, you know, the district has maintained productive relationships with the 3 institutions over the years, but I think doing this process, it really helps Muscatine just, you know, we want to be competitive, we want to make sure we're getting the best rates and modern financial services. So, you know, we plan on implementing some things that we haven't had in the past. I don't know if I should go into, I mean, it's positive pay, you probably haven't heard of that, but it's just helps detect fraud in checks and so forth. And then, you know, we'll be utilizing a sweep account so we don't no longer have to like transfer money from savings to checking. That's just automatically done depending on transactions presented for the day. And so, you know, we have those dual approvers will be set up on the bank if there are transfers or that will be the process that we'll go forward with for the next 3 years. So, any questions on that? I guess
You answered mine, so. Right, we do have a motion and we have a second. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is our health and dental insurance rates and plan changes for 26-27 and the FedLogic agreement as presented.
okay, so
We need
yeah,
a motion.
oh, sorry.
I make a motion to approve the health and dental insurance rates plan changes for 26-27 and FedLogic agreement as presented.
Second.
I led you astray the
Oh,
first time.
that's-
That
I'm
was my
sorry,
fault.
yeah.
So back on track.
Okay, so yeah, just wanted to do a shout out to the insurance committee. We met here this week. We usually meet a couple times a year. And there's the list of employees that are on that committee. John DeBeat is also on that committee. And so we had a meeting last week to kind of review this last year, review the history of our claims experience. This first slide just shows our history with claims. And in the turquoise color there, that was when we were fully insured. So that's when we were just purchasing premiums outright from Wellmark and from Delta Dental. And that stop-loss ratio was really good stop-loss ratio, really good for Wellmark, so not necessarily for Muscatine. And then you can see then in the purple there is when we started doing self-funding. So we looked at this last year, the claims, the projected claims, I believe, are 5.7 million. And you can see what the history was there for health, and then same thing for dental. The last 2 years, you know, we are at over 100% for our loss ratio. But the good part about being self-funded then is we can, I guess, control or set the funding rates and then, you know, utilize some of our reserve when we have to, where, you know, that's something we couldn't do before because, you know, Wellmark just kept the reserve. So that reserve is sitting in that Fund 71 that you see every month. That's our health, and then our dental's in 75.
And Tom, I would just add a couple of things there. One, in those years where you see we went over 100%. We actually budgeted to go more than that, but we came out on the, I guess, although we're still over, it was less than what we had anticipated, which is good. And then they always, Holmes Murphy always includes a number if we stayed fully insured and didn't go self-insuring. That cost per year would be projected to be $7.5 million or more. So again, when you're fully insured and they decide you're going up 20%, you're going up 20%, right? And then you got to figure out how to do that. We have more control over setting what that looks like and the impact of that. And again, Tom's done a great job in working with Holmes Murphy. I think they've helped us try to be, really good stewards of our money, but also providing the resources and benefit to our staff.
Okay, so currently, the way our plans work are we offer two plans, Select 500, or Alliance Select 500, $500 deductible PPO network, and then we offer a high deductible health plan. And so, this is, a place where, we kind of struggle, I don't know if the word struggle, but, we are cognizant of employee costs, and we're cognizant of, the cost to the school board for these health insurance plans. One thing that was brought forward to us is it's called a point of service option, which is kind of like an HMO, but it's a hybrid HMO. And so we're going to be adding this option for staff this coming year. And then we'll continue, and we'll get into more of the what the POS is on the next slide, but we're going to increase our PPO network from 500 to 750 deductible for single. We're going to continue with that stop loss premium of 100,000. So if you don't know what that is we're liable for all claims for somebody up to $100,000. So when we first started self-funding, we started at 75,000, and then this is where Holmes Murphy helps us gather data from Wellmark, and we look at claims experience and determine, is it beneficial to increase that to 125 or 100 based on claims that we have out there. There are people that are reaching that threshold, so it's determined that it wouldn't benefit us right now for next year to increase that, so we're going to stick with the 100,000. Now, that is a large piece of our renewal because, that loss ratio, Wellmark has been paying out more on the stop loss than premiums that they've been getting from us. So we'll explain that a little bit in the next few slides. We're going to implement a program called FedLogic, and again, we'll get into that in the last slide. We're not proposing any changes to dental, no changes to our vision premiums, and then we're going to go over our 26-27 funding rates. So this next slide is just a summary then of those three plans. And the biggest, with the point of service, that is an in-network, basically in Iowa only. So you're still covered. If you're on this plan and you are out of state, you're basically out of network. Obviously, you still have coverage. And then Alliance Select, that's pretty much a nationwide plan. Same thing as what it is now, except we're increasing the deductible there. And then the high deductible health plan, which is the same. We always were required to increase that out-of-pocket maximum for singles for single coverage every year. That's an IRS regulation. And so that's the summary page of all of our plans. And I will point out that tomorrow we'll send out communication because we will have employee meeting probably like a week from Wednesday. I think we have it set. So we'll have a meeting here in the admin center so employees can get this information from us. We'll also we won't record that meeting, but we'll send out a video or a recording of the summary of the plan changes if they can't be there. But we will offer that in person for our employees, because I think it's important. Obviously, we want people to be aware of our options, plus how do they utilize their insurance to be able to make their decision on which plan to take. Anything else on that slide, Clint?
No, I think you're good.
Okay. And this next document is just kind of summarizing we kind of always look down or look at that per member per month, per employee per month, sorry, of, Wellmark for this year, we accrued $1,290 per employee per month. The actual or budgeted is $1,132, and right now we're at, through February, $1,227. So the increase, as we said before, is in the fixed costs, and that's of the fixed costs, and I don't know that exact per member per month amount, but the stop loss is the greatest increase, is the highest increase because of our claims that have been over $100,000 this last year. So that's our fixed costs are increasing 16%. And however, I think, is it the next page, or is the next page dental? I'm gonna skip the next page and go back to dental, but these are the rates then we're setting. We're only gonna increase the rate 7%. So our rates are gonna be in the pink column there. And so you can see that's about a 7% increase on average, I guess. The rates for the PPO 500 plan the POS plan there. I should just stick to reading this. I can't read that far away. Okay, so the POS plan, you can see the rates there, and then the fund, as far as the employee-employer, that's where, we also like to be cognizant of how much the employee is paying versus the school board. So, and we're also trying to get some uniformity across all of our groups. In the past, we've had, teachers or nurses are this amount, and then everybody else is this amount. So they're really, essentially, all employees will have the same contribution and then the same board contribution if they choose single or single plus one or family. So the board will contribute to the $938 level for that PPO or POS plan. And again, this will all go out, we'll talk about this in 2 weeks or in a week and a half, but, and then an employee, if they choose to take the $750, they would pay like about $66 there for the single plan. And then the board does contribute about $420 more if you take dependent health. So besides the $938, another $420. So that's the same across all groups. So, but these are the total premiums that we're gonna get approval for tonight. And I'll back up one slide. This is just the dental, basically showing, we're pretty solid on what we've been what we've been paying, I guess, and that is the board has been paying $35 for employees, and then if you decide to take dependent, you pay the difference between 110 and 35 as an employee. And then the board does contribute to that health savings account if somebody decides to take the high deductible health plan, and you take a single health plan, and the board will contribute the difference between the $938 and $821. And the nice part about that is, Our open enrollment starts May 4th for the district, and if you're not familiar with that, every eligible employee meets with American Fidelity is who we partner with. They meet with American Fidelity it takes about a half an hour to go over their benefits for next year, and then if someone decides to, they take the high deductible, then they can enroll right through American Fidelity in their HSA. So that's a convenience for employees. And what else do we have? Okay, so the last slide, Clint, feel free to jump in here
Yeah, you bet.
anytime. We're gonna partner with another company called FedLogic. And if you can read this graph here on the right-hand side, there's lots of federal programs that employees may be eligible for, say in a catastrophic situation with, let's just say, a premature birth. There are programs where employees can, at no cost to them, utilize a federal program to pay for those costs while the premature child is in the hospital. And there's other situations here that you can see. But this program, this was suggested to us. I checked with another school district in Iowa that uses it, that has had success with it, as far as FedLogic will find if, over the first year, whatever it costs us for the first year, if FedLogic does not, if our return on investment is not as much as how much it costs us, then we'll still continue the program, but at no cost the next year. So they really have, I believe, people that used to work for the federal government that work for them now, and they will have access to, if an employee would come to, we get a lot of questions in our department, I should say, Marcia gets a lot of questions about, like, Medicare. When employees get close to retirement, they might come and ask us about Medicare, and we're not consultants in that way at all, but we have nowhere to direct them to, but now we would. We can connect them with FedLogic for that purpose.
And I would just say the program really has, I think, two things. One has the opportunity to save the district money on some of these claims and help keep that cost down. But it's also an employee benefit. When you look at that list of topics, there's probably one on there that right away you think, oh, that could be a benefit. And it's free then to our employees to use, and I think connected to their family as well. So, they may have a parent that's, has some, they can call and ask, right? And they can get information. And so again, I just think this is going to be a great benefit for our staff and an opportunity to save some money potentially for our plan.
So is there an amount, will we have to pay for that?
Yeah, I believe it's in the agreement that I attached, but it's,
$29,140.
Thank you.
It's like a per member fee that we.
And that will come out, that's paid for through the self-funding insurance account, so it's not a general fund expenditure, because any savings that would be, realized would come from that fund, so. And this would be another topic that we would discuss at our employee meeting also, so that people, hopefully there's not, a lot of employees that would have to utilize this, but it's gonna be an option for employees if they do.
So we as a district pay for the employee-only 938, is that correct?
That is what the district, that's what the board pays, right, for health insurance. If they take single health insurance. Yeah.
Right.
And then, and it's always been, the board pays another $420, not always, this last year it was, another $420 if an employee chooses to take single plus one or family. Mhm.
The single plus one could be a child also,
Correct.
right?
Could
It
be a
doesn't
child
have
or a
to be
spouse. Yep, yep.
And then can I just clarify, the 29,000, that number may be based on the number of employees we have, but it's not per employee?
No.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's
We
the
were
total
like,
cost. That's the total.
Okay. Yeah.
Just as you're processing, I will also say, when you look at our pharmacy claims, as we've done some movement to a pharmacy benefit management, those claims as a percentage of our total cost have started to come down, which is good, because for a while that was really high. I think our overall total cost is actually a little bit less than it was this time last year. So there are some good things there. We know, cost of medicine, cost of care is going to continue to go up, and that's part of why we're needing to make these changes to make sure we're in a good position down the road. I think the change to that POS, it gives employees an option, right? You do that's the the plan that the district will cover, and looking at that, if you feel like you need additional coverage from them, you have the option to move up to that next level or pay the out-of-network cost. And so that's one of the things that American Fidelity will help walk through, with them to see what is that best fit.
I want to thank you, Tom, and everybody else that has worked on this. That's a lot of work getting this all put together. And to me, it's frustrating on the other hand too, is because of the fact that I wish there was a way that we could take and help our staff more in the pricing of what they have to pay for health care. And with the rising cost of what health care is being, it doesn't seem to matter how much we are able to take and do, it's still going to rise costs for them as from their end. So I appreciate anyway that we're trying to do as best we can to minimize, negate some of that.
And I would say, just in talking with Holmes Murphy, who represent a number of districts, talking to other superintendent colleagues, like every district is seeing increases in insurance, right? Typically, that's in that 8 to 10% range every single year, right? But again, I feel like we're in a good position to try to minimize that as much as possible.
All right. Had a lot of discussion, but we do have a motion and a second, so all in favor of that approval, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, approve certifying the budget for the 26-27 school year with a 13.50081 levy rate and a budget of $89,320,535.
Make a motion to approve the budget.
Second.
Tom's still here.
Yeah, hopefully the document that I prepared for you in the board book there, showing what the current levy rate is for 25-26, and you remember we had to have that public hearing number 1, and that was the rate that we had to publish at the time based on what we know or knew at that time. And so public hearing number 2, which was published in the paper, I believe, April 2nd, shows that our property tax rate is actually going to go down compared to not only this year, but what we had to, unfortunately, we had to publish that the first time. And then obviously our tax asking is actually going down by $320,000. And then I noted there on the budget guarantee how that $278,000 really is coming off of property taxpayers, and it's going to be put onto state aid. So that's how we'll get that budget guarantee this coming year. So, yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah.
All right, were there any questions on that? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Approve the Muscatine High School visit to George Goldstein Schule. Sorry, my computer switched and I didn't know how to say that anyway, so. From June 6th to June 24th. We do have to make a motion
on
first.
those dates.
Oh.
Once you have a second. It'll be June 11th through the 24th.
Okay. So if we can possibly have a motion with that amendment to change. Would you repeat the dates?
June 11th through June 24th.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
So with this, it is a continuation of our German exchange program that Charlie Netzer started a couple years ago. So we go every other year. So we hosted our Georg Goldstein Schule in October of 2025. So it would be our turn to head over there for our students in June with Marcus and Felicity, the two teachers that came over.
Danny, I have just a quick question, and you know how much I enjoy study abroad programs, but how many students are going, and is it open just for those students who are taking German as a language, or is it open for other students too?
There's 11 students going, and currently right now it's just for students that are in the German program.
Thank you.
I just want to say I like the schedule showing as in what the calendar, what the students will be doing. That's good. I like that.
Who are the staff that will be going?
It will be Katie, Marin Footman, and myself.
Although I do have to ask, it's called, in quotes, Rent an American.
Yes. So it's kind of their fun way of seeing what it's like switching the American versus the German lifestyle. So since they've been here now, they get to have an American with them and get the American perspective while they go through all of their daily life as normal. So going through their school day, their classes, talking about the differences between, you know, what it's like in Germany compared to what it's like in the United States, especially for discussion points and working with teachers. And we have a lot of blended classrooms and how that's slightly different than what it would be in Germany, so.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, any more questions? Okay, so we have a motion to approve the Muscatine High School visit from June 11th through June 24th. And we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Right, next is to approve the 2026 to 2027 concurrent enrollment, course approval, and district funding policy. Need a motion for that?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
And this would go back to Mr. Foxen and Mr. Guerra's presentation, so if there's any more discussion.
Second?
We did have a second, right?
The what?
We got a second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we good? All right, no discussion?
Ryan did stay if you had any questions.
Okay. I don't think there are any questions. All right, all in favor of approving that policy, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Should we try it again? All in favor of approving that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Final item is to approve the workspace quote for the Muscatine High School library furniture in the amount of $108,556.73.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Chris, up here?
Do we have classes that take place in the library currently?
Can you speak louder,
I
please?
think the class,
Do we have classes that take place currently
I believe that the classes come down there as a class, so we're redoing the entire library, basically. So this is all new furniture, except for the, on the cafe, used to be a cafe in the back there. That stuff was fairly new, but the rest of the library was, stuck in 1970. So we're redoing the flooring, we're getting all new furniture, we've already put in all new lights, and just everything's gonna be new and bright, and it's gonna be great.
The reason I ask is just seeing the items listed out in an invoice style.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get an idea of what, is the library's use gonna stay the same, or is it gonna kind of evolve? And
Yeah, like I said, I think and Ryan can correct, that they also, in times of need, they may have to send classes there for supervision if we don't have a sub, things like that. So we have a nice space there that will hold a full class. But the classes can also choose to come down and use the resources while they're in their class with their teacher. Yep.
Thank you.
Is this changing any of the configuration of it, or this is just furniture and flooring and things like that? That's just the individual little rooms that were there before, they're still there, correct?
Still there, yeah, sure. Yeah, just the furniture will be reconfigured a little bit to make the space a little more usable, but.
I guess where the books are and everything, are they getting new bookshelves and all
Yeah,
that stuff?
all the furniture in there is gonna be brand new. That's what that whole 108,000 is for, which we got a significant discount from H&I too, by the way.
And then just a note that comes out of all of our PEPAL fund for the summer projects too. And what do we do with all the stuff you're taking out?
Well, the bookshelves are trash. I mean, if
Okay.
you can touch one, it'll fall over, so.
Oh.
The tables, are in decent shape, I'd say, and the chairs are in decent shape, so we'll probably store most of those if we have enough space to store them. But the other thing we can do is put them on our auction and sell them, so we'll find places for them.
Any more discussion? All right, all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, discussion and information section, moving to March financials.
Okay, so March is presented there, our deposit balances, we're comparing them to last month. The treasurer's report, March 31st, and the percent change from the same period last year. Don't see anything unexpected. The management and PEPAL fund should be increasing because these are the funds where we don't spend that money until this coming fiscal year. And then we're obviously monitoring our nutrition fund pretty closely right now towards the end of the year. So our estimated FY26 expenditures on that, I think it's on the third page in. I'm comparing, what I have on our line item budget with what we published back in April of 2025. And so I will be going forward with amending our budget next month, so we'll have a public hearing. I just, in 3 of the 4 categories, in one of the 4 categories, we are showing where we could potentially spend more than what we published. And the other 3 are pretty close, and so if we can stay within 90-some% of what we published, then I'm comfortable with that. And just remember, I reiterate that this does not increase property taxes at all if we have to amend our budget. It's strictly it's our reserves are paying for whatever purpose that we have to increase that for. And April of 25, there's a lot of unknowns by the time we actually get to 25, 26, and that's kind of where we're ending now. So I've had years where we amended the budget, but maybe we didn't reach it as far as I thought we would. But there's a lot of things with curriculum that are, we may be paying it this year or we may be paying it in July. It just depends on when everything gets ready. So I just need to be prepared for either scenario. So in our general fund, I did put there that 61% of our budgeted revenues in the general fund have been received. 61.5% of our general fund expenditures have been spent. So both compare closely to last year. Our fee collections, so far, in the month of March, we've collected 28,844 we've received from the Municipal Collections of America that have been assisting us with collecting past due fees. So far, they've helped us collect about 51,700 between past due fines and fees and lunch account balances. So it's been very helpful for Muscatine so far. And finally, I guess I'm pleased to announce, that I submitted our annual comprehensive financial report to the ASBO International, and we did receive a Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 4th year in a row. So I'm very happy with that, and I think, thanks. So thank you, but that's my report.
I want to thank you, Tom, for keeping us out of the news.
That's a big goal, believe me. Yeah. It's not part of the audit report, but it helps, so. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have our first reading of the 2026-2027 Student Handbook. If there's any discussion surrounding that? Big lift every year, so.
Yeah.
It's good to. I could send a question ahead of time about the corporal punishment and that being in there twice. Do we know if that annual notice makes it required? Clint?
I do not.
Okay.
If it's required in there twice or not.
Okay. So we will have, we'll look at this a couple more times too, so continue to look it over. If there's any other discussion. Review of administrative regulations and exhibits. We have regulation 501.09, 502.01, 503.04, and 705.07. All right, move into the announcements. April 16th, we have a 2-hour early dismissal. April 17th, no school for in-service. Also, April 17th, we have our kindergarten building tours from 1:30 to 3:30. May 11th, community conversations at 5:30 here at the admin building, and the regular school board meeting to follow. Are there any other announcements? All right, we can take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?